Hey guys, Katie here from Shangri Gardens. Today we're out here, we're going to be talking about erosion and deposition. Now I know you're asking yourself two questions. The first one, what is she wearing? And the second question, where is she? Because that's not Shangri-La. You're right, we're out here on Village Creek. And we're out on Village Creek because this provides the perfect examples of both erosion and deposition. So we came out here in our kayaks today so you can get a very up-close view about both of those things. Can't wait to show you. Village Creek is a blackwater tributary of the Neches River in Texas. A tributary is another body of water that runs into the river. Village Creek is 63 miles long. All right guys, this is our first example of erosion. Now erosion is the movement of soil from one place to another. If you can see here, you can see all these tree roots. They shouldn't just be hanging out in the air like that. They were at one time dug deep down into the soil. Now as Village Creek moves, it slowly picks up those soil particles and carries them somewhere else. Now erosion is the movement of soil from one place to another. Deposition is where the soil ends up, where it's deposited. Follow me over to this sandbar. We'll take a look at this over here. All right, friends, here we are looking at our first example of deposition. Deposition is where those soil particles have been deposited after they've been eroded. So erosion moves the particles. Deposition is where those soil particles are deposited. Now, I want you to think about this. Village Creek is very twisty, as are a lot of our bodies of water, rivers and streams. So think of it like an S, okay? And on the outside curve of that S, the water is moving more swiftly than it is on the inside. And that's due to centrifugal force. If something is spinning, the most outside edge of whatever you're spinning is moving faster than it is on the inside. So that's why that faster moving water on that outside edge is what causes that soil to erode and then be deposited in the slower moving part of your body of water. Alright guys, here's another example of erosion. You can see it here to my right, and that's erosion caused by Village Creek, the movement of this creek. It's picking up the soil and the sediment and it's depositing it somewhere else. If you look behind me though, you're going to see some very steep banks. I want to point this out because erosion doesn't just occur from the movement of a creek or a stream or a river. It also occurs with rain, but also just with gravity. Sometimes things fall. And so if you look behind me, you can see that bank is way, way higher than the one next to us. So we can tell that that is being eroded by rainwater and not necessarily Village Creek. We're finally back on dry land. We've seen lots of really great examples of erosion, where that soil is picked up, and deposition, where that soil is deposited, all along Village Creek. Now, erosion is a natural process that occurs. That's what gives us our creeks and our rivers, those beautiful bends that make it so interesting. But sometimes we don't want erosion to occur. So what we're going to do is an experiment, and we're going to see if plants can help us in preventing erosion. Experiment time! The first thing I'm going to do is I've got to build my mountain. And this is a mountain. It's got beautiful views, and I have cleared the land so that I can build a mansion. This is called Mount Henry. And right in the middle of Mount Henry is my beautiful house. So I want you to hypothesize what's going to happen when it rains, because I just checked the forecast and there's a storm coming. The first thing we're going to do is just a light rainstorm. On the count of three. 1, 2, 3. I want you to watch what's happening to this soil as it rains all over Mount Henry. All this beautiful soil I just moved for my house. Uh-oh. Oh no. We can see what happened with just a light rainstorm, what happened to our Mount Henry. So what do you hypothesize would happen if we got hit by Tropical Storm Wyatt? Oh no, my mansion. Oh, this doesn't look good. All right, friends, we saw what happened with just that gentle rainstorm and also what happened to Mount Henry after Tropical Storm Wyatt hit. But don't worry, there's good news. We now have lakefront property. So obviously, friends, this was a dramatic experiment to show you what happens when water hits our soils when there's nothing but soil. There's no vegetation. So you can see all of that soil did what? It eroded. That's right. And it was deposited down in our new lake at the bottom. All right, friends, we're going to do a second experiment, only this time we're going to build Mount Caleb. And Mount Caleb is going to be covered with lush vegetation. We're going to see if that helps us at all if we encounter a rainstorm. Mount Caleb is complete. I need you, though, to use your imagination. Pretend that this Spanish moss is actually grass. And of course, these are trees. And right here at the top is my mansion on top of Caleb Mountain. Uh-oh, we have some rain predicted. I want you to hypothesize what's going to happen now that we have all this vegetation holding our soil together with its roots. There's a storm a-brewing. I can see the rain clouds from here. Luckily for us, it's just a light rain. Let's see how Mount Caleb fares. Mount Caleb fared pretty well on account of that vegetation helping to hold our soils together. But what happens if Hurricane Evan blows through? Whoa! All right, friends, Mount Caleb fared pretty well on account of that vegetation. So what's happening is the plants are actually slowing down the water so that the rainfall, so that it has more time to soak into the ground, so it's not just washing those soils away on the top. And the second thing that's occurring is that these plant roots are holding the soils together, which makes it harder for the soil to be carried away by water. Now in our experiment, you can see that erosion still did occur, but I think if you go back and look, it's far less than what happens if there was no vegetation at all. Today we learned all about erosion. You got an up-close view of what's occurring on Village Creek, which I think is a great example, and then we did an experiment, and we talked about how plants can help the soils from being eroded. So challenge time. I challenge you to go outside into your outdoor space and see if you can find any examples of erosion. It's happening all over the place, and sometimes we don't even notice it. But now that you've learned about it, I bet you're going to notice it even more. We miss you. We're proud of you. Stay curious.